pela mwetata
Antumula konsenaya
mutima wandi nami pela mwetata
Antumula konsenaya
weo wandi nami pela mwetata
Antumula konsenaya
mutima wandi nami pela mwetata
Antumula konsenaya
Asumina
Asumina umupashi weno tata Antumula konsenaya
Asumina
Asumina umupashi weno tata Antumula konsenaya
Oh, Asumina
Asumina umupashi weno tata Antumula konsenaya.
This time around, I want to look at part of trigonometry, and this is the cosine rule. There are only two ways of examining a triangle under cosine rule. One way is that you are going to be given a triangle whereby all the three sides are going to be given, or rather are going to be marked to that particular triangle. And the second part is whereby you are going to have two sides known and one angle that is going to be included, or rather that is going to be between two angles. And again, before going further in explaining how to, or in giving examples on how to handle the cosine rule, it can be a good idea for one to have the following information on how to mark a triangle, that is using both the small letters and the capital letters. And this kind of mathematics is normally taught to people who have attended higher secondary education, that is grade 10, 11 and 12. So without wasting much of your time, let us look on the board. What you have seen there is a triangle. Now if you have observed very carefully, for the triangle which is on the board, it must be named. Each and every corner, or each and every vertex must be named using a capital letter. Like for instance, there I've used the letter capital letter A. Then let me term this as capital letter B, and I term this as capital letter C. Now this is a triangle A, B, C. I have marked the triangle using the capital letters, and again it's possible to mark the triangle using the small letters. So if you observe very carefully, there is angle A there, opposite to angle A down there, you should have a small letter A. And this is a B, opposite B you should have a small letter B, and opposite C you should have a small letter C. I'm sure that is C. Now from there, what comes next is that a pupil should be able to tell or to say what is named by using these letters is an angle or a side. What I mean is that both angles and the sides of a triangle are going to be named in terms of letters. For instance, if one wants to name a side, let me say sides. For sides, what it is that two capital letters are used. For instance, if I use letter A, B, it means the side from A to B. I'm sure that is understood. AC, it means the side from A to C. And finally, there is B, BC, the side from B to C. And again, it can be convenient if you look at this diagram that the two capital letters are used to name a side. If not two capital letters, it can be seen clearly that where you have A to B, this is the small letter C. And where you have A to C, this is small letter B. I'm sure that is understood. And finally, where you have BC, B to C, this is small letter A. So it can be convenient when naming a site. You either use two capital letters or a single or small letter, like I have applied them. This is AB from the diagram, A to B, and this is small letter C. And this is A to C, and this is small letter B. AC, which is small letter B, and the BC, B to C, capital letters. Then if you don't want to use capital letters, you use this small letter A. and I have explained how how to come about these small letters. Mind you, if this is angle A, a side BC lies opposite to this angle A, and a side AC lies opposite to this angle B, whereas a side AB lies to this opposite to angle C, like that. I'm sure that is understood. That is how the sides are named. Now after that, it can be convenient. It can be important also to name the angles. How are these angles named? For angles, you have to use 3 capital letters. Like for instance, if you say ABC, there what is named is angle B, because this is the letter which is in between. I'm sure that is understood. In some cases, you may find that in books, something like that can be written. And again, a single capital letter B can be used that way to mean angle B. Or if not that, like that, then still this is angle B. On the other hand, you may find that to name angle A, it is going to be BAC. I'm sure that is understood. The one in between is angle A. If not that, a single A like that, still this is going to be angle A. I'm sure that is a sin. If not that, to name angle A again, it is going to be something like that, then a capital letter A. On the other hand, for angle C, it is going to be ACB, capital letters, or a capital letter C, something like that, or a C like that. That is how the angles are named. Now from there, the next thing is to look at the conditions that are going to favor cosine rule to be applied. Most of you out there tend to fail mathematics, reason being that you lack some of the pieces of information. So if you can have all these pieces of information, then it can not be difficult to handle a triangle under cosine rule, whereby you are going to be given all the 3 sides of the triangle, and that way you are going to be questioned to find an angle. And again, where you are going to have 2 sides known and an included angle, and that way you are going to be questioned to find the side of length. So without wasting much of your time, let me explain how to come up with a formula that can be used to get an angle of a triangle where all the 3 sides are. Let's suppose that all the 3 sides of a triangle are marked like the triangle I've seen, marked A, B, C. And again, from there, we have seen how the small letters can be used to name on the sides. Like for instance, opposite angle A, you have BC. Let's assume that all these 3 sides are known, B, C, and A. All the sides of length are named. Then that way, you are going to be questioned to find an angle. And if that can be the case, let's say assume that you are told to find angle A. I'm trying to come up with a formula that can be applied in order for you to calculate angle A. So let's take for instance that you are told to say calculate BAC, which means angle A. Now the formula to be used is that you are going to start as cosine capital A, and after cosine capital A, then this is going to be equals. Since you are trying to find angle A and you have written cosine A, which is the capital, then what should come to your mind is that after an equal sign, you are going to first of all enter a letter other than small letter A, B and C, as B plus C. Then these 2 are going to be squared. Then minus, minus A squared. Why minus A? Because you have started with the capital letter A. Like in a case where you are going to start with cosine B, then it means small letter B is going to be subtracted, and you are going to add the other 2 smaller letters like that. I'm sure for a wise person that is understood. Then there you draw a dividing line like that. Then this formula should be over 2. Look at this BC. over 2BC. B squared plus C squared down there over 2BC, just like that. If you start substituting, mind you, where we have seen A there, if you suppose there is a number which is 8, then it means wherever you are going to be seeing B, you are going to write 8 there. Where you are seeing C, the number which is going to be in place of C is going to take that position, and the same applies to that B. Then this should be divided as 2BC. This is the formula which can be used if you are told to find in the first place the first angle, which is angle BAC. I'm sure that is understood. Let me term this as question 1. Now question 2, what of if you are told to calculate angle B, which is going to be angle ABAC. For angle B to be calculated, the formula is going to be cosine big B, like that, angle, and this is equals to, since you have started with a big B, then it means cover that small letter B, you will be able to see A and C. Then after an equal sign, you are going to enter A squared plus C squared, then minus, and you started with cosine B, then you are going to have a small b, but squared like that, and everything divided by 2, which is part of the formula. Mind you, this is A squared plus C squared, so you just get A and C. So this is 2AC. I'm sure that is the seen 2AC. That is the formula which can be used to work out angle B. Similarly, for question 3, let me add 1, 2, 3 to be fair. You can be questioned to calculate ACB, which means angle ACB, which means angle C. And for angle C to be calculated, it is simple and straightforward. You simply write cosine capital C, then an equal sign there. Since C is to be found, you cover small c, you'll be able to see A and B. So after an equal sign, A squared plus B squared minus C squared, since you have started with C, and this is going to be divided by over 2AB. Just like that. You use one of the formulas. If you are trying to find A, you use this one. If trying to find B, you use that one, and trying to find C, you use that one, and that way you are going to work out angle one of the question angles. And in most cases in an exam, one at a time is going to be examined. I have done this because I want to give you a wider coverage so that you understand how to go about that. And this is not all that difficult, but simple and straightforward. This is the first part where you can be questioned to find an angle of a triangle. Then the conditions are that all the 3 sides of a triangle are going to be known to you. I'm sure that is clearly understood. I'm sure that is understood. Now, before I come to the second formula whereby you can be told to find a side of length, let me give 2 examples on how to find an angle of a triangle where all the 3 sides are given. And this can be this triangle. Let's assume that one of the 3 sides is going to be 5, the other one is 6, and the other one is 7. So the one which is the longest, let me call BC to be a 7. Then I call B to be a 5, whereas this other part, which is AB, to be a 6. So as you can see, it is like what you have been given is that you have been given AB equals 6 meters, then BC equals 7 meters, and AC, which is equals to 5 meters. So it is all the 3 sides are given. Then that way you should stand a chance of finding one of the 3 angles. Like for instance, if you are told to find one of the 3 angles, let's say assume that you are told to calculate angle C. Calculate ACB. which is an angle, and in most cases you are going to be given 4 marks. So how can we work out the angle LCD? This is simple and straightforward. What we are trying to find here is the angle at C, and you have seen the condition of a triangle. We have a side AB, which is 6, BC, which is 7, and AC, which is 5. So without wasting much of your time, how do we find this angle C? Like I have explained earlier on, in the first place you have to write a formula in such a way that this is cos big C equals, since big C is the one which you are trying to find, then you cover a small c, you are able to see A and B. So after an equal sign, this is A squared plus B squared minus C squared, and this is over 2AB like that. Then from there, this is cosine C capital equals small letter A. If you look at the diagram, A is given to be a 7, so you write a 7, and this is squared, plus the small letter B, this is a 5. 5 squared minus small letter C, this is AB, which is a 6, so you write 6 squared like that. Then over 2 is part of the formula 2AB, it means 2 multiplied by A multiplied by B. So I have already entered the 2, then AB. What is A? A is a 7, so which means multiplied by a 7, again multiplied by a B, which is a 5. Then if that can be done that way, the next thing you have to do is that you have to simplify the matters in such a way that you have to square that 7. 7 squared, it means 7 times 7, which is going to give you a 49. And there, which is a 5 squared, which is a 25, and minus 6 squared. 6 squared, it means 36. Then down there, 2 multiplied by 7 multiplied by 5, or 2 by 5 multiplied by 7, and you are going to get 7. And this way, you are going to use a scientific calculator, as it is the scientific calculator which is capable of converting what is going to be a fraction, or rather a decimal fraction, to an angle by taking advantage of some of the patterns which I am going to explain at a later stage. So without wasting much of your time, what you have to do there is that you come down, you indicate cosine C equals, this is 7 squared. 7 squared means 7 times 7, which is 49. Then plus 5 squared, 5 times 5, which is 25. Then minus 6 times 6, which is 36. And this is over 2 times 7 times 5, which is 70 like that. Then you come down, this is cosine C capital equals 49 plus 25, then minus 36. In the first place, you have to get the sum of two numbers. 49, as you have seen, 49 plus 25, then you take away 36, then you get that difference. So without wasting much of your time, this is my calculator. In the first place, it's 49 plus 25, then minus 36 equals, as you can see, this calculator is capable of combining the details. As you can see, this is the way I have written on the blackboard as 49 plus 25 minus 36, and after pressing an equal sign, as you can see, the result is 38. So without wasting much of your time, this 38 must be transferred there as 38, then divided by 70. So this 38, what I'm going to divide in is a 70, and if I divide the 70 into, if I divide the 70 into 38, then what I'm going to get there is, if I divide the 70 into 38, what I'm going to get there is a decimal number. As you can see, there is 38 there. Then all I need to do is to divide the 70, then equals. So this is 0.542857142. So to cut short, it can be better I get this to 4 decimal places or 5 decimal places. So transferring this number, this is cosine C is equals to 0.542857, which means 286. Now it is this number, which is 0.54286, which is going to be converted to an angle of cosine. Since what we are answering this question by using cosine rule. So what is next is that you have to use a scientific calculator as follows. What it is that as long as you have a decimal number, you have to bring display cosine to the power -1, which is cosine inverse. Then after that you enter a decimal number there. After entering a decimal number, then an equal sign, then that way you are going to get the feedback. So now, in order to get this cosine to the power -1 on calculator display, what you have to do is you have to feed the, according to my calculator, second function, then followed by cos. But some other calculators, it's in INV, which is the inverse, whereas some other calculators, it is a shift. Now, according to this, it is second function. So in the first place, as you can see, there is a button for second function there. I press second function. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to press cos. Immediately I press second function and cos. As you can see, a calculator is showing a display which is cosine to the power -1, which is cosine inverse. And it is at this point in time that a decimal number must be entered. And this decimal number, which we have calculated, is 0.54286. So this is 0.54286. As you can see, after cosine inverse, which is cosine to the power -1, then I have fed the decimal number, which I have calculated. In fact, I have just transferred 0.54286. Then all I need to do is to press an equal sign just once. And there is a reason why I'm saying you press an equal sign once. These calculators, they are so sensitive that if you can press the decimal, the equal sign more than once, then you are going to get different answers. So just once, there is an equal sign. I just press once. Then as you can see, the angle is 57.1214551. So from there, since you have fed the second function, then you cos, in order to come up with the cosine inverse, then this cosine should disappear. So this reduces to capital C, which is equals to 57.121. This is to 3 decimal places. The next number is 45, which means this is a 5, like that, to 4 decimal places. After decimal point, I have accommodated 4 numbers like that. Then finally, if not specified, let's assume that this question appears in a Zambian paper, which is a paper 2. The way it is, the question is not specified. We are not told to say we leave the answer to 2 decimal places, to 1 decimal place, to 4 significant figures or so. Then assuming that it is in paper 2, there is that instruction which goes as, if the degree of accuracy is not specified in the question and if the answer is not exact, the answer must be left to 3 significant figures, but those in degrees to 1 decimal place. Now looking at this, it is to how many significant figures? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again to 4 decimal places. After decimal point, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's why I'm saying to 4 decimal places. Now I want to leave this to 1 decimal place, because what I have calculated is the angle in degrees. So in 1 decimal place, to 1 decimal place, this is going to be, therefore, SCB is equal to 57.1 degrees. So that is the final answer, 57.1 degrees. As you can see, all the 3 sides for this particular triangle have been provided, and they have managed to get angle C. In the same manner that I have got angle C, angle A can be calculated. At the same time, angle B can be calculated, provided that you write a formula correctly. And it's not only by writing a formula correctly, you have to substitute what is required in that formula, and that way you are going to end up getting the correct answer. So without wasting much of your time, let us look at the second example about the same. We are going to see a triangle where all the 3 sides are given, and we are going to be questioned to find one of the three angles. We look at the example number 2. For this example number 2, even though I have used the same figures, but marking the triangle, instead of marking it as ABC, I have decided to use the 3 different capital letters. That is to name P, Q, and R, of which PQ is equals to 6, PR is equals to a 7, and the QR is equals to a 5. Let's assume that all these are in meters. Now that way, if all the 3 sides of a triangle can be given, then you are going to be questioned to find one of the 3 angles. So for instance, let's assume that we are told to say calculate the angle PQR, and this is 4 marks. How can PQR be calculated? PQR, which means that the angle to be found is the one at Q, according to the question PQR. So without wasting much of your time, what you have to do is to have this triangle or mark it, or you have to mark this triangle for yourself. As you can see, the capital letters are already marked, so you have to put in place the small letters. So like the case you saw where a triangle is marked ABCD, opposite to angle A, where a capital letter was indicated, a small letter was marked to represent that side opposite to angle A. So similarly, this is Q, opposite to Q, this is small letter Q. This is P, opposite to P, this is small letter P, and this is R, opposite this is small letter R. I'm sure that is seen. So you have to mark the triangle according to the letters that are given. It's not always the case that, since me as a teacher, I am giving an example whereby I am using ABC or PQR. It doesn't mean that everywhere where you find a triangle, you have to use the ABC or PQR. You have to observe the letters that are used at a particular time. So like the case, what is used is P, Q, and R. And for that, in respect to that, opposite to capital R, I have small r, opposite to capital P, I have small p, and opposite to capital Q, I have small q. Meaning that the side PR is now small q, which is equals to 7. And the side QR is now a 5, which is the small letter P, which is equals to 5. Whereas the side PQ is a 6. I'm sure that is seen. Now, looking at the question, PQR, calculate PQR. What is being used here are the 3 capital letters. So meaning that since the 3 capital letters are used in questioning, then it means the letter in between is the questioned angle, which is angle Q. And for this reason, you have to come up with a formula for cosine. See, this is cosine big Q equals, since you have started with a big Q, small q covered, you are able to see P and R. Alphabetically, P comes first. So after cosine, you are going to enter P squared plus the R squared, then minus small letter Q squared, like that. Everything divided by 2 of P R. I'm sure you have seen how I have presented that formula. That's why it's very important. Learning mathematics using a video or CD or using a video clip becomes more efficient in that where you can't understand. All you need to do is you have to play it, that video CD once more and again. Watch it several times. Then in the end, you end up learning the concept which is behind learning. So without wasting much of your time, the next thing here is to start substituting or replacing. Where you see small letter P, you are going to write a 5. Where you see small letter R, you are going to write a 6. And where you see small letter Q, you are going to write a 7, like that. 2PR, it means 2 multiplied by P multiplied by R. Whereas cosine Q, this is now the subject. Under cosine, this Q is a capital letter, mind you, which means this is the angle which I am trying to work out. So this goes as follows. Cosine capital Q equals small letter P from the diagram. Small letter P, this is a 5. You have to write a 5 squared there according to the formula, plus small letter r, this is a 6. Write a 6 squared. Then minus a small letter q, which is a 7. A 7 is squared. And this is over 2pr. It means 2 multiplied by p multiplied by r. So 2pr, which means 2 multiplied by p. What is a p? A p is a 6. Then multiplied by r, which is 2pr. I have to be fair. 2pr. So I come again there. This is a 2 entered multiplied by what is p? P is a 5 multiplied by 5. Then what is r multiplied by a 6, like that. Then from there, this is cosine capital Q equals. Then this should be simplified. On calculator, if you want, you can combine everything. 5 squared plus 6 squared minus 7 squared. And that way, you are going to get a 12. I'm sure that is understood. You get a 12. And this is over 2 times 5, which is 10, times 6, which is 60. Of which, if you divide 12 by 60, what you are going to have there is 0.200. 0.2. You can have many zeros after decimal point. 0.2. It can be 0, 0, etc., etc. Just a 0.2. But I have to be fair. I have to do it using a scientific calculator so that you understand how to go about that. All I'm trying to say is that, more especially where we have 5 squared plus 6 squared minus 7 squared. Here is the scientific calculator. I make it on. 5 squared. Here is the scientific calculator. 5 squared. So I have to look at where a 5 is. 5x power 2. As you can see, it indicates 5 squared. Then I have to go where a plus is. This is plus a 6 squared. 6x power 2. 6 squared, as you can see. Then followed by minus 7 squared, which is 7x to the power 2. Like that. As you can see, this is what a scientific calculator has displayed. So all I need to do is just to press an equal sign once, like that. If I press an equal sign, then what I have is a 12. As you can see, that is a 12. And for this reason, this is a 12 up there, which I transferred there. And down there, it's 2 times 5 times 6, which is a 60. And as you can see, cosine Q equals 12 divided by 60. So if you divide the 12 by 60, there is a 12 there already on display. All I need to do is to take advantage. Divide by 60. Then I press an equal sign. As you can see, this is 0.2. Now, 0.2, after decimal point, you can have zeros. But these zeros are not significant. So from there, this is 0.2. Now, this is 0.2. It is this 0.2 which you are going to convert to an angle of cosine. And to do that, there is already 0.2 on the scientific calculator display. All I need to do is to feed the second function, then followed by cos. So second function followed by cos, then 0.2, like that. Second function followed by cos, then 0.2, like that. All I need to do is to press the equal sign once, like that. Then what I have got is 78.46304. So by doing that, then it means that Q reduces to 78.46304. So these are enough. Since what I'm trying to calculate is the answer in degrees. Assuming that this question appeared in paper 2, I have to leave the answer in degrees to 1 decimal place, but all the rest of the answers to 3 significant figures. That is if the question is not, that is if the question has no specification to say give your answer to 2 decimal places, to 5 significant figures or so. So now, since this question is without specification, so I am assuming that this appeared in paper 2, which is a Zambian paper, then I have to leave it to 1 decimal place, since what I have calculated is the angle Q in degrees. So this goes as, therefore, PQR is equals to 78 degrees 0.4. Not 0.4, 0.5. Why 0.5? Look at this, a 78.46. The 6 must be discarded. Since I'm writing this to 1 decimal place, any number which is 5 or above must be rounded off. So I get 1 and add to 4. So this is 78.5 degrees. I'm sure that is understood. That is how to get the angle. And in most cases, you may come across a situation whereby the way I have calculated 0.2, which is a positive. If you can happen to get what is negative, then what is going to be expected is that the answer is going to be more than 90 degrees. Let's say if this were to be negative 0.2, then the answer to be expected were that which is going to be more than 90 degrees. I'm sure that is understood. So I have given 2 examples under cosine rule on how to find an angle. If you want to prove the triangle on your own time, you can get a plain paper, then try to find the question P separately, find the question R separately. Thereafter, try to add all the 3 angles that you are going to get. And that is going to, if you are accurate in calculating those answers, then you are going to get 180 degrees as the sum of the 3 interior angles of the triangle. But I'm not going to do that at this point in time. So without wasting much of your time, let us look at the second part, the second part of examining cosine rule, whereby this time around we are going to have only 2 sides and an included angle. And this goes as find the side of a triangle, then it means that the 2 sides of a triangle are going to be given and an included angle. What I mean is that if this is a triangle marked A, B, and C. As you can see, the triangle is marked A, B, C, and C. So what it is that if an angle is going to be given at A, like that, I'm used the theta to represent an angle, then just know that here you'll be given maybe a 3 and there a 5. And that way you are going to be questioned to find BC. Find the BC, which is the side of length, and the number of marks, it's 4. 4 marks or 5 can be allocated. If that can be the case, then the formula to apply, you have to look at where the angle is applied. The angle is applied at A. So opposite to that, this is small letter A, this is B, and this is C. Like I have marked in the previous question. Then from there, the formula to use there is that since you are trying to find the BC is represented by small letter A. So this time around, small letter A starts a formula as small a squared, then equals. After small letter A squared, you cover it, you are able to see B and C. After an equal sign, B squared plus C squared, then minus 2, which is part of the formula. This is, since this is 2B squared plus C squared. After that, you have to enter 2BC. And then from there, you connect to say cosine. You enter cosine big A like that. I'm sure that is seen. Without wasting much of your time, now look at this other example. This time around, let's have a 5 there and 8 there. Let's assume that there you have an angle which is 40 degrees, and this is marked as A, B, and C. Then that way you are going to be questioned to say calculate A, B, and this is 4 marks. So calculate AB so that you can be given 4 marks. How do you calculate this AB? First of all, you mark the triangle. I'm sure at this point in time you have learned the tricks. So this is small letter A, this is small letter B, and this is small letter C. What are we trying to find? You are trying to find the side which is the AB, and this AB is the small letter C. So for this reason, the formula starts as small letter C squared equals, after small letter C squared, you are able to see B and A alphabetically, A squared plus B squared minus 2AB. Then cos, since you have started with small letter C, it is cosine big C, like that. Similarly, in a situation where you are told to find, the AC, then the formula is going to be AC. Mind you, that AC is, if it is this diagram, AC is going to be in such a way that it is going to be represented by small letter b. So the formula should be small letter b squared equals a squared plus c squared minus 2ac, then cosine big B. You have to take your time, make sure that you understand how to present that formula for you to be able to be handling questions that can be examined under cosine law. And besides that, a question like this one, where you have an included angle, you can be as well be questioned to find the area of the triangle. But I'm going to look at that at a later stage. At this point in time, allow me to look at 2 examples on how to find a side of a triangle under a condition whereby the 2 sides of a triangle are given and an included angle. And this can be done as this is a triangle marked ABC, or in which AB is equal to 5 centimeters. So this is given in a triangle that AB is equal to 5 centimeters. BC is equal to 80 centimeters, and the angle ABC is equal to 112 degrees. Then the question, calculate the side of length AC, calculate AC, and this is 4 marks. Let's assume that in your time you come across such a question. If you examine a triangle, it is marked A, B, A, C, of which, according to the information, it is given that in a triangle, which is A, B, C, triangle ABC, in triangle ABC, in a triangle ABC, AB is given to be 5 centimeters. A to B, this is 5 centimeters. Then B to C, this is 80 centimeters. And the angle ABC is equal to 112 degrees. Then calculate AC. AC, mind you, looking at the questioning, 2 capital letters are used. AC, it means the side of length from A to C. So in the first place, this triangle must be marked using small letters. Opposite letter capital B, you have small b. Opposite this, you have small c, and opposite A, you have small letter A. You have small letter A like that. So it can be seen clear that where you are going to see the formula A, you are going to be writing 8. Where you are going to be seeing C, you are going to be writing a 5, of which B is unknown to you. And this is what is in the question. Calculate AC. AC is represented by small letter B. So AC represented by small letter B. So the formula should start with a small letter B, since AC is represented by this small letter B. So now, how do we get this AC? So this goes as small letter B squared equals, I'm sure that is seen, small letter B squared equals, after an equal sign, if you cover a B there, if a B is covered, you are going to be able to see A and C. After an equal sign, then the A squared plus C squared minus 2AC. Then cosine, mind you, the angle is applied at A, so cosine A. Meaning that this must be a capital in such a way that this is representing an angle. I am sure that is seen. Cosine capital A to mean an angle. And the rest are small letters. B squared equals A squared, small letter A plus the small letter C squared minus 2AC. Then cosine capital A, meaning that the angle is at this is not correct. If you look at the formula, mistakes are there to be controlled. If you look at the formula, it starts with a small letter B. A is after an equal sign squared plus C minus 2AC. cosine, not big A but big B, meaning that the angle is applied at B, cosine big B, like that. I'm sure this time around it's perfect. So if you can understand how to go about or how to come up with a formula, it is not going to be that difficult to handle questions like the one where you can have two of each sides known and an included angle. I'm saying an included angle. An included angle is an angle which is between the two known sides. I'm sure that is seen. If you suppose this angle were to be at C, then I maintain 8 and 5. Then this were not to be an included angle, and that way cosine law were not to be applied, but a different formula which is a sine law. I'm going to look at that at a later stage. So that wasting much of your time. All you need to do is to start substituting. What is this small b? Small b is AC. So substituting small d, it is AC. So you write AC squared there equals small letter a. What is small letter a from the diagram? This is 8. So this is 8 squared plus small letter c, which is a 5 squared. So this is a 5 squared minus 2ac, which means 2 multiplied by a multiplied by c. So I enter a 2 multiplied by a is 8, multiplied by c, which is a 5. And this is followed by cosine, the angle, which is 112 degrees. I'm sure that is seen. Let me make a demarcation there in order not to confuse the details. So without wasting much of your time, all you need to do is to come down. You write AC squared equals 8 squared. This is 64. 8 times 8 plus 5 squared. This is 5 times 5, which is 25. Minus 2 times 8 times 5. This is 8. Mind you, 2 times 8. 16 times 5 it's 8, or 2 times 5 it's 10 times 8 it's 8. Then we will cosine 112. I'm sure that is seen. Then from there, this is AC equals, you have to get the sum of these two numbers, 64 and the 25. What can be the sum of 64 and the 25? Mind you, 4 plus 5, 4 plus 5 it's a 9. Then 6 plus 2 it's 8. This is 89 minus 8 cos 112. Most of you out there, when you reach that stage, you tend to make mistakes. What it is there is that even if there it is 89 minus 8 cos 112, there is no way you can divide, you can subtract this 8 alone from 89 so that you get 8, and then you consider that as 8 cos, so that 89 minus 8 so that you get a 9, so that you can consider 8 cos 112 to be a perfect. No. What it is that the whole lot of that you have to get the feedback there. 8 cosine 112. The result which you are going to get must be the one which must be subtracted from 89. I'm sure that is seen. So this goes as AC squared is equals to, what you have to do, 89 minus cos 8 cos 112. Let me combine that so that you see for yourself. 8 cos 112, 80, then followed by cos 112 equals 8 cos 112. As you can see, it's a negative number, and this is negative 29.96825. I'm sure that is understood. It's a negative number, so this is 89. Then there is a minus to connect the two. Then what I have got from this, it's a negative 29.968 followed by 5 to 4 decimal places, and then in brackets like that. Now, because of a negative and a negative there, mind you, a negative multiplied by a negative, you have to get a positive. So these two must be added, and if you add the two, what you are going to get is that you are going to have AC squared equals negative times negative. It is now 89 plus 29.9685. So you have to find the sum of these two numbers. AC squared plus AC squared is equal to 89 plus 29. I'm sure that is understood. Now, if these two can be added, the sum is going to be, as you can see, adding these two figures, 89 plus 29.9685. You are going to get the sum, which is indicated on that scientific calculator, which is 118.9685. So this is 118.9685. Now, there we are. I am trying to explain the stages in order to make you understand. On scientific calculator, there is the easiest way to do it is that you have to feed from there 89 minus 80 equals 112. Thereafter, you press an equal sign. Then you are going to arrive at the feedback, which is 118.9685. It can be done as follows. Starting from there, where you have 89 minus 80 equals 112. So this is 89 minus 80 minus 80. Then without pressing an equal sign, you go ahead. You press cos 112, 112, like that. Then press an equal sign. As you can see, feeding everything all together, this is what can be obtained from the scientific calculator. I'm sure you are able to see that. Then by doing that, this is what I have transferred from there to there. I have shown these two stages in order to make you understand this, since I'm teaching the concept on how to go about. I know that most of you out there do fail mathematics and find the mathematics to be difficult. Mathematics is not all that difficult, but simple and straightforward. It requires a lot of practice, and one should not be lazy in order for he or she to be a good friend of this subject, which is called mathematics. So without wasting much of your time, there we are. And what we are going to do here is that there what we have is AC squared. Now we have to make AC to be the subject of the formula. We find ways and means of transferring that power to the other side of the equation. I repeat this. This is AC squared equals 118.9685. If you bring in the square root this side, even this side, you have to bring in the square root. Mind you, whatever is applied, there is an equal sign there. I apply the square root this side and the square root that side. So by doing that, you find that this is square root and power 2 cancel, and this reduces to AC, which is equals to square root of 118.9685. So let's get the square root of 118.9685, and this is going to be the answer. Mind you, this question is not specified. I haven't specified to say give your answer to 2 decimal places. Give your answer to a certain number specified degree of accuracy. So since I'm preparing you to handle a final exam, so what you have to do is to leave this to the final answer to 3 significant figures. This time around, what I'm trying to calculate is not an angle. For this reason, I'm not going to leave this to 1 decimal place, but to 3 significant figures, and that is if the question is in paper 2. I am respecting that instruction which says if the degree of accuracy is not specified in the question, and if the answer is not exact, the answer must be given to 3 significant figures. Only answers in degrees must be given to 1 decimal place. Then I have to employ, or rather to use, a scientific calculator so that I find the square root of this number, which is 118.9685. So in the first place, there is a scientific calculator. I have to feed the square root. Then upon feeding the square root, it is 118.9685. 9685. As you can see, that is what I have fed. Then from there, all I need to do is to press an equal sign once. like that. Upon fitting an equal sign, the result is 10.9073. So this is 10.907 to 4 decimal places. Now, this is not the final answer. Assuming that the question is in paper 2, I have to leave it to 3 significant figures. Therefore, AC is equal to 10.9. Since these dimensions are in centimeters, I have to add the units to say centimeters. If they were in kilometers, I were to add the kilometers. That is how this question can be handled. I'm sure that is understood. So if you are watching that video CD, it's possible that you can learn how to go about the cosine rule on how to find the side of the triangle. All you need to do is to get a piece of paper, try to copy the question. The question is that we have a triangle, and for this triangle, the 3 sides are that you have AB, BC, and AC, of which out of the 3 sides we've been given the side which is AB to be 5 and the BC to be 8, and we have been questioned to find the side of length which is AC, and the number of marks allocated to this question is 4 marks. That is how this question can be answered. So without wasting much of your time, let us look at example number 2. As you can see on the blackboard, there is this triangle which is marked A, B, and C, of which for this triangle we have an angle at B which is 71 degrees, the side AB which is 80 units, and BC which is 11 units. I'm saying units. These units can be in centimeters or can be in kilometers. So let's assume that these units are in meters. So to add the information given that AB is equal to 8 meters and BC, 2 calculators used, equals 11 meters, and the angle ABC, meaning that 3 calculators are used, the angle B is equal to 71 degrees, like that. Then after that, we are told to calculate, or rather to say find the side of length AC. Find AC, and the number of marks for this question is 4. So 4 marks. So far so good. I have explained how to handle such situations. What you are going to do there is that in the first place you have to mark the triangle in such a way that this is capital A, so meaning that this is small a, this is capital C, this is small c, and this is B. So as you can see, what we are trying to find is the side AC, which is represented by small letter B. So in my formula, this formula is going to start with a small letter B as follows. A small letter B there squared equals, after small letter B, if you cover B, you are able to see A and C. So this is A squared plus C squared minus 2AC, then followed by cosine. Mind you, this is a B, cosine capital B. And we have to mean that the angle is at B. I'm sure that is the C. So the next thing you are going to do, or you have to do, is that you have to start moving. In place of B, small b, you are going to write AC. In place of A, you are going to write 8. And when doing the formula, it says A squared, so it is going to be 8 squared, like that respectively. So without wasting much of your time, this can be done as follows. Small letter B, this according to the diagram, small letter B, this is A to C. So you are going to write AC squared there, because from there this is small letter A, which is 11 squared, plus small letter C, 8 squared minus 2 multiplied by 11, which is A multiplied by 8, then followed by cosine. The angle is 71, cosine is 71 degrees, like that. Then from there you come down, AC squared equals, as you can see there, 11 squared. It means 11 times 11, and you are going to get 121. This is 121 plus 8 squared. This is 64 minus 2 times 11 times 8. When you multiply 2 by 11 by 8, then you are going to get, I have to show that 2 by 11, 2 by 11, then by 8. 2 by 11 by 8, then you get 176. So this 176 should be transferred there, 176, then you connect cosine 71. The sum of these two numbers, 121 plus 64. So 121, 121 plus 64. When you add 121 plus 64, what do we have? We have 185. So the sum of these two numbers there is 185. So to cut short, I have to write 185 there. 11 squared plus 8 squared. If you want, you can do it on scientific calculator as 11, then x power 2 plus 8, then x power 2 equals, this is 185. As you can see, 11 squared, then you come to 185. Now, I explained earlier on to say, upon reaching there, 185 minus 176 equals 71. It can be a mistake to subtract this 176 from 185. Thereafter, you say that difference cosine 71. As this is one family, this 176 cos 71, you have to get one figure, and it is that one figure that should be subtracted from 185. I'm sure that is understood. So without wasting much of your time, using a scientific calculator, you can feed everything. Make sure that while you feed 185 minus 176 cosine 71, then an equal sign should come after you have fed everything. I'm sure that is understood. This goes as 185 minus 176 followed by cos 71, like that. Upon feeding it that way, just press an equal sign. What you have is 127.70048. So 127. So this is the AC squared is equals to 127.7. Then how many zeros? 4 zeros. Then after 4 zeros, 48. 0, 0, 0, 0, then 480, like that. Then upon getting that figure, all you need to do is that you consider AC squared is equals to 127.7. Find the square root of that number. What can be the square root of that number? Square root of that number, what you have to do is just to feed the square root. There is the square root. Then from there 127.7, and this is 11.3000044. This is, upon doing that, what I'm trying to say is that since you have indicated this squared equals that, make sure that you bring in the root there and the root there, like that. That and that cancels. And this now reduces to AC equals square root of 127. If you use a calculator, as you can see on scientific calculator, square root of 127.7, that is the figure, which is 11.3004447. So this is now 11.3000, then followed by 4. These are enough. Therefore, what we are trying to find is not the answer in degrees. So I leave these two three significant figures, assuming that the question is in paper 2, and there's no specification. So this is 11.3. Then I add the meters, just like that. This is how this question should be handled. So without wasting much of your time, using my two examples, you can take advantage of those two examples if you are watching that on the net, to extend the idea to some other problems. This is all I prepared for you under cosine. Even though at some other stages where you have an included angle and the two sides. You can be questioned to find the area of the triangle, but I'm not going to cover that at this point in time. So this is what I prepared for you under cosine rule. You have succeeded in learning how to find the angle, and the angle can be found if all the three sides are given. All the three sides of a triangle are known. It's possible to find an angle, and if you have an included angle and its two sides, it's possible to find the side of the triangle, and this is by cosine rule. This is what I prepared for you in that package.
Let's go.